all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to a Monday edition of TNInews. And we've got a lot to cover today, including reveals from this weekend's New York Toy Fair. So let's just jump right into it, and let's start off with a little bit of news from Mondo. So just today, they released the official images for their new 1/6 scale Masters of the Universe Beastman figure. So we had seen this on display at some of the conventions. This thing is pretty damn big compared to the other 1/6 scale Masters of the Universe figures that they've done. You can see here he kind of dwarfs over He-Man. You get a lot of accessories. You get 3 different head sculpts. You get a sword, a gun, of course his whip. You get a chicken leg or turkey leg, I don't know what that is, a cup, just like a lot of different accessories like you generally get with these. Now this is going to be going up on the Mondo website starting tomorrow at 12 noon Central Time, and then it will run, the pre-orders will run on the Mondo website until Friday the 13th, so October 13th. So if you want to get this one, you shouldn't have too much difficulty, being able to pre-order it. And then the price of this one is going to be $275. So again, if you want to pre-order this thing, it will be up on the Mondo website starting tomorrow. For you fans of Gears of War, Storm Collectibles has 2 new 1/12 scale figures that are now available for pre-order at places like our sponsor Big Bad Toy Store. The cost of these are $79.99 each. These are being offered here in the US, of course, as Big Bad Toy Store exclusives, and the 2 figures are Queen Myra and then Dominic Santiago. So definitely nicely detailed and everything like you'd come to expect from Storm Collectibles. And again, these are both available for pre-order now. And then also Storm Collectibles had some figures on display at this weekend's Overseas WonderFest event. And you can see this is a nice updated look at their upcoming Street Fighter Blanca figure. So that one is definitely looking pretty good. And then also from Gatchaman, or Battle of the Planets as I more commonly refer to it as, you can see in this image the June the Swan figure. So the second figure in this line. It is a slow going line. They actually teased this figure back in July, but we haven't seen anything more on it. But you do see it here on display at WonderFest. So hopefully pre-order information on that one will become available soon. For you Super 7 fans or fans of Sesame Street, here's a look at the supersized vinyl Super Grover figure that they're going to be offering. The first figure in this line was the Count, and the second one here is Super Grover. Both the Count and Super Grover have been up for pre-order for some time, but we didn't have images of Super Grover until now. This figure is going to cost you $295, so it does have a hefty price tag. It does have minimal articulation, about 5 points. So, these things stand about 17 inches tall. And actually, this figure has already sold out on Big Bad Toy Store, the pre-orders for this one. So, but you can still pre-order it at our sponsor, Entertainment Earth. And then just a quick update on that GIJoe Reaction Cobra Mothership. It was on display this weekend at Toy Fair, and it looks like the official announcement and when it's going to become available and all of that will happen during New York Comic Con, which is not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. So, again, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be like a Kickstarter campaign or crowdsourcing campaign or what. But it looks like whatever it is, pre-order or crowdsourcing, it's going to launch during New York Comic Con. And while we're on the subject of New York Comic Con, also don't forget that Hasbro, while they won't actually have a real presence at Comic Con this year, Hasbro does not have a booth at Comic Con this year, but the Marvel Legends brand team will be hanging out at the Marvel Comics or Marvel Entertainment booth, and they will have their Giant Man Haslab campaign on hand. So if you're attending that convention and you want to get an in-hand look at the figure before you decide whether you want to back it or not, you will be able to see it at New York Comic Con. Again, Hasbro will not have like any other reveals, and like I say, they don't really have any kind of booth or anything there. But like we saw last year, they did the same thing with the Engine of Vengeance Haslab campaign, where the Hasbro guys went down to New York and they hung out at the Marvel booth and showed it off. So same thing here, you know, and it still remains to be seen on whether the Giant Man's actually going to get funded or not. It still continues to be pretty slow going. Right now, as I'm filming this, the campaign is sitting at 5,475 backers with just over 21 days to go. And then also, while we're on the subject of Marvel Legends, don't forget that tomorrow, going up for pre-order on October 3rd, is that new wave, the Void Wave that they showed off during PulseCon. This is an all comic book wave. So just to go over it again, this wave is going to include the figures of Power Princess, Justice, an updated Vision figure, Tri-Star, Savage Namor, Namorita from the New Warriors, and a classic Black Panther. And then again, the Build-A-Figure here is the Void. You can see it looks like the Black Panther figure is the one figure in the wave that will not have a Build-A-Figure piece. And as I said, this wave will be going up for pre-order tomorrow at places like our sponsors Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. And you can expect the pre-orders to go live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so this past weekend was the New York Toy Fair. It's actually still technically going on, but we pretty much saw all the reveals on Saturday. So I'm just going to go down a few of the highlights that I thought came out of the show. It was not anything like Toy Fair of old. It was, you know, what I would consider Toy Fair light. Companies like Mattel didn't even attend. Hasbro, as I talked about on Friday, you know, they were off-site and they had absolutely nothing new to show during Toy Fair. So definitely, you know, Toy Fair light. Now, before we get into the reveals, however, there is news from Toy Fair itself about future dates and locations for this event. So next year, 2024, there will not be a Toy Fair, I guess because they're kind of considering this the Toy Fair for the coming year. So the next Toy Fair will be taking place in 2025, specifically in March of 2025, March 1st through the 4th. And it will be taking place in the Javits Center in New York City. However, this will be the last time in 2025, it will be the last time Toy Fair takes place in New York. And then starting in 2026, they will be picking up and moving to New Orleans. So 2025 will be the last year that Toy Fair takes place in New York City. So an end of an era, a long era. I forget when Toy Fair first started, but it's been quite some time. But starting in 2026, it will no longer be in New York City. They are moving to New Orleans, the Ernest N. Memorial Convention Center, and in 2026, the dates will move to January. So in 26, it'll be January 17th through the 20th, and then in 27, it'll be January 9th through the 12th, and then in 28, it'll be January 15th through the 18th. So they've given us dates going all the way out to 2028 for this event. Okay, so let's get into some Toy Fair reveals. So first of all, from Diamond Select Toys, we have a look at a new Marvel Select figure with Archangel. So these images actually come via Pre-Tourney. I'll put a link to his Instagram down in the video description. But you can see here we are getting an Archangel figure for the Marvel Select line. The wings look pretty massive, you know, pretty nice detailing. That's really the only new Marvel Select figure that they had on hand. They had some others that we've already seen, like Captain America and the Crimson Dynamo, which we saw during San Diego Comic-Con. But again, for Marvel Select, a new Archangel figure. And then also from Diamond Select Toys, we're getting our first look at the Invincible Series 4 Select figures. These are 7-inch scale figures based on the Amazon series. So, like always, it's a 2-figure wave, and the 2 figures in this wave are the Mahler twins, and then which is just 1 figure, and then also Rex Splode. So, if you've been collecting this line, these are ones that you're probably going to want to check out. I don't know exactly when these are going to go up for pre-order. I'm guessing probably later this month, towards the end of this month. Probably same thing with the Archangel figure as well. Okay, next up, this one is an odd one. I'm not even going to say 100% is legit. So this image showed up at a vendor booth, not a specific toy company, but a vendor booth that was on display. So what it appears to be is our first look at the rumored Turtles of Grayskull, or more specifically, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Masters of the Universe mashup line that Mattel has been rumored to be working on. So these look to be Origin-style figures, Masters of the Universe Origins, only with the Turtles. But again, it's very odd that like a mock-up would have been made available to this vendor. Mattel, again, was not actual toy fair. This line has not been officially announced by Mattel. So, even on this mock-up card, there's no Mattel logo or Playmates logo or anything like that. So, again, there's definitely been rumors of a mashup line between the two properties coming. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's fake, but I'm also, until we get something a little more official, I'm not going to sit here and say 100% this is a completely legitimate product or mock-up, I should say, that was for some reason released by Mattel. So we'll have to wait and see, but definitely looks kind of interesting, especially if you're a Turtle fan or Masters of the Universe or both. And again, these look like the Turtles in the origin style. All right, now let's jump over to McFarlane Toys. So McFarlane Toys was on hand, and they did have showed off a few new things. Not a whole lot new, but we did get our first look at the Batman and Robin movie wave that is going to have the Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure. So we had seen overseas listings for this wave, but now we're getting our first official look at it. So this wave is going to have the Alicia Silverstone, Batgirl, Poison Ivy, and then Batman and Robin. So another version of George Clooney Robin. We got the George Clooney, or I should say Batman, we got the George Clooney Batman in that 6-pack, and now we're getting a single release of him. And then, as I said, probably the coolest here is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. So you can see a good look at the head sculpt here. So thanks to Rob D Toys for these images from the McFarlane showroom. Also seeing for the first time is a new 2-pack with Batman Beyond versus Justice Lord Superman. So this is another one that we'd seen listings for, but as our first look at. All of these, of course, are in the package, unfortunately. McFarlane didn't have any of these figures out of the package on display, just in-package shots. Then also in some very interesting news, while no images were allowed, word is that McFarlane is going to start doing 3-inch page puncher figures for both GIJoe and Transformers. So if you're not familiar with the page punchers, they've currently been doing them for DC and Spawn. Again, these are 3-inch figures, very small figures, and each, it's 2-packs that come with a comic book. So, according to the reports from Toy Fair, again, no images were allowed, but what was on display were mock-ups for GIJoe. There was a mock-up of Duke and Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander and a Crimson Guard. Now, the comics in these were IDW comics, and I'm not sure if that was just a placeholder. If you're not familiar, the GIJoe and Transformer Comics license recently transferred from IDW to Robert Kirkman's comic book company, Skybound Comics. So, and Robert Kirkman is actually pretty good friends with Todd McFarlane. So I definitely feel like more likely when these get released, it won't be IDW comics in them, but it will be the new Energon Universe comics from Skybound Comics. So again, we don't know for sure on that, but as far as the Transformer side, and no, the Transformer figures do not transform, but Optimus Prime and Wheeljack, and then Megatron and Bumblebee were the mock-up 2-packs that were shown for the Transformers part of this. So, but again, very interesting, whether you're into the 3-inch page puncher stuff or not, it's just interesting to see that McFarlane is going to be doing, Hasbro licensed products for the first time. So, and as I've talked about before, especially if you caught my most recent live stream last week, I talked about this in pretty large detail, but you're seeing more and more companies like Hasbro move to licensing their brands out to other companies and just letting other companies make figures of the licenses they own. Of course, they don't own like Marvel Legends, and Star Wars. That's owned by Disney. But things like GIJoe, Transformers, Power Rangers, brands that they actually own the license for, you're seeing them license those out to more and more companies, such as Super 7, and now in this case, McFarlane. Now, McFarlane has done 7-inch scale page punchers as well for DC. We've not seen that with Spawn, and I tend to doubt we would be seeing that anytime soon for Transformers or GIJoe, but you never know. So when more details become available on this, or we get some actual images and stuff, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Jumping back into Turtles, so Playmates Toys was at Toy Fair. However, they really didn't allow pictures to be taken of most of the stuff that they had on hand. They did give Pixel Dan an exclusive look at some of the Mutant Mayhem stuff, like a single carded April O'Neil figure and such. They did have on hand on display their 2003 Turtle reissue figures, which actually some images slipped out of. People weren't really supposed to be taking pictures of these, but I guess somebody did anyway. And then besides that, they also had some product on display for the new 2024 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animated series that is coming. It's called Out of the Shadows. That's the name of the new series, which I believe is supposed to premiere in April of next year. No pun intended. But they did not allow images for those products, and as far as I know of, no images have slipped out for those products. But we will likely get a look at them, maybe around February or so of next year, assuming the show is still on track to premiere in April. Oh, and also Playmates was teasing that they have a big new license to announce, which they're expected to make during New York Comic Con. Now jumping to Loyal Subject, so again, they really didn't have a whole lot new on hand for their BST AXN line. The one new figure that they had was a Shredder in Hell box set, which is going to cost $29.99. So no word on exactly when or where that's going to be released, but it is a special box set that they're going to be doing with essentially a deluxe type Shredder figure. So this is based on the IDW comic series. And then they also announced no images of products or anything, but they will be doing a product for the upcoming, or the Netflix animated series Dragon Prince. So if you're a fan of that animated series, you can expect Loyal Subjects to start doing figures for that sometime next year. NECA Toys probably had the most new product on hand for this event. So a couple of things that have already gone up for pre-order since Toy Fair started on Saturday. So their new London After Midnight Ultimate Professor Edward C. Burke figure, that one went up for pre-order today. You can get it at places like our sponsors Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth, and the cost of that one is $36.99. Also going up for pre-order today are two DC comic Toonie figures, classic Toonie figures, so with Joker and Superman. So again, these went up for pre-order today. The cost of these are $17.99. Pee Wee Herman will also be joining the Toonie line, and then they're going to be doing a number of different types of Pee Wee products, including bobbleheads and things like that. No ultimate figures or anything, no ultimate Pee Wee Herman figure, unfortunately. Same thing for the Netflix Wednesday series. They're going to be doing some Toonie figures and bobbleheads and things like that. Again, no indications of ultimate figures. And then just on display, they had quite a few things. So we're getting our first look at their Krampus line. So that Krampus figure looks pretty impressive. So if you're a fan of that movie, you're going to definitely want to check those out. We're getting a human RoboCop, Murphy before he became RoboCop. So that's kind of interesting that they're doing a lot of horror stuff. So one of the coolest things I saw was the Vincent Price figure. That one is definitely cool. We're getting a new Christopher Lee Dracula figure, which is pretty nice. They're going to be doing a figure from the Megan horror movie. I've never actually seen that movie, but Megan is getting a figure. So a lot of horror stuff that NECA revealed this weekend. And then, of course, some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff. A lot of this stuff we had seen at San Diego Comic-Con, I believe, and such. But not surprisingly, but those Samurai Turtle movie figures that they did as a box set are now going to be released as 2-packs. So if you missed out on the con exclusive versions, you will get a shot at those. Probably one of the cooler figures was this Kirby figure. So this is based on the character named Kirby in the Mirage comics, which was a tribute to Jack Kirby, famous comic book legend Jack Kirby. So kind of our first Jack Kirby figure, again, being done for the Mirage comics line from NECA. So that one is definitely a cool one. We got a look at the box art for the party van that should be shipping out to folks soon. So this is what the packaging will look like for that. And then also we got some looks at a few new Gargoyles figures as well. So NECA is definitely continuing to go full force on that line. So again, NECA had quite a bit to show, and they will be at New York Comic Con as well. So I don't know how much more new they will have at New York, but they will be at New York Comic Con, and they will have a booth showing off products there as well. Fresh Monkey Fiction, we have for you Halloween fans the Bizarre World of Naughty or Nice Halloween collection. So these are being offered as Big Bad Toy Store exclusives. There are 2 1/12 scale figures and then 3 4-inch figures. The 4-inch figures are $20, and the 1/12 or 6-inch figures are about $37. And again, all of these are being offered as Big Bad Toy Store exclusives. If you're into Halloween type figures, these are ones that you might want to check out. And then the final thing I have for you today is from Fwoosh Toys, not a company that I cover on any kind of regular basis. Of course, these are put out by the same folks who run the Fwoosh website. So they've been doing figures for a little while now, a bunch of ninja type figures. This one is definitely, I think, kind of cool. It's the Consumed. It is a 6-inch scale figure. It is available for pre-order now at our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. The cost of it is $39.99. It is supposed to be released sometime in 2024. And with this one, you get 3 different devil-type head sculpts. You get multiple pairs of hands, multiple bloodied, bladed weapons. So, we'll go in with the rest of the ninja type figures that they do, or whatever 6-inch line that you might collect. This guy is somewhat generic, so he could be like a henchman or a goon or something like that. So again, this is available for pre-order now at our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store, the Consumed from Fwoosh Toys. Okay, so that's it for today. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about down in the comments section below. Like this video if you're so inclined, and if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News Message Boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.